Let's roll. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Had a long weekend, huh? Able to get out and stretch your legs, touch grass?
Mhm. That's right. I wasn't even in my own house. I was states away even.
Oh,
So
my
that's
goodness,
how much grass
man.
I saw, at least. I didn't touch a whole lot, to be
You didn't
honest.
touch a whole lot of grass. I don't know. I don't know if just seeing it counts. I don't have to think about that. Well, while you were out there,
Listen, One,
while you were out,
yeah, what?
oh, no, you're cool. You're cool. I don't mean to talk over you. We're going to get better at that, peeps. Any peeps coming along is let you know. We're just not used to it yet, but we're going to get our vibe
Yeah.
down and get that right.
Mm-hmm.
But no, while you were out touching or seeing grass, while you're out
Mm-hmm.
looking at grass,
A
lots of
lot of grass.
grass, great American grass.
Mm.
Uh, there was some internet drama. The quartering thing is coming up into a his crash continues.
Yeah, which we've at least mentioned once before. But yeah, no, I think we have really come to a head here is his full descent into madness, it feels like.
Yeah, I've been watching Yellow Flash for a long time, and when he was smaller, and now he's kind of blowing up because of this whole thing. And I usually like to watch smaller content creators because once they get big, they kind of become a brand and they kind of get corporatized. Nothing against them, but I've done
Right.
that with so many. I was with them and they had few viewers, and then once they get so big, I kind of go look for other ones that are in that smaller realm. The up
But
and
you like
comers.
streamers mostly like their first albums are always the best one, right? You
It's
know,
when they're
when
hungry. It's when they're
they're hungry.
hungry. Exactly. It's just like music. It's just like I treat music.
Similar, it really is until you get audience captured and you're like, well, this is what you want, right? But yeah, no, that's it's let me so this is who is this that we're about to listen to? What's this champ?
Oh,
Is your
this
new
is Rev says Dezu. He's a cool guy. I'm trying to think of what click. Yeah, and this is his second channel. This isn't his main channel. He
and
mostly
he's a little
covers.
vampire woman.
Yeah, he's like a little vamp woman. I'm not really into the anime VTuber lores and stuff, so there might be lore behind him. He's got a good community base. I like him a lot. I catch a lot of his videos because he comes at them from a very base place. I mean, he's not. He'll go after Hassan with a vengeance, but for the most part,
Right?
he's pretty fair. He's real fair.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and if that's how he identifies, I as the shit lib, I will completely affirm that
Oh
decision.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
let's
just his avatar, and you got to remember in gaming, like my best friend
that's how
in my
you
start.
identify. No, I get it.
Yeah, in gaming, having a female avatar. I don't know how they've got my second officer in command runs female avatars. Dude's a dude. He's a hetero dude or whatever. He just runs. He prefers. His thing is he likes watching their ass. If he's got to watch an ass, while you're playing the game, it might as well be a nice ass.
That is funny. I think of the Always Sunny has a bit where they're trying to solve the bathroom problem. And they think that one of them accuses me of like knowing that they shit in the woman's bathroom because I sit next to you all the time. But it's actually Charlie wearing high heels and a dress because he was from he was a single mom would bring him into public bathrooms all the time. So he'd have to change into dresses in order to go into women's room. So now it's the only way he can poop. He identifies as a woman while he poops. So
While
he's
he
a
poops.
transgender pooper.
And yeah,
So
but Rev's a cool dude. His wife works.
while you're gaming, sometimes you're a woman. You're just a trans
Yeah,
gamer.
but yeah, and his wife also works for another group of YouTubers. They're I would say they're more Gen X in the Gen X area, and they do a lot of pop culture, anti woke stuff. And she's real big in that crew.
All right.
All right.
All right. Let's get caught up because yeah, this was to me amazing. I remember quartering. We should stop talking.
The
At least
main
get.
channel, I released a video talking about the latest involving the quartering. Okay, we know what's going on with him. At this point, I just look to him as a shorts channel because that's his bread and butter these days, and the thing he flexes with on social media, his shorts count in terms of views. But we know that he's been crashing out. He's been flexing his ability and his desire to see his critics hit with strikes and silenced. And that has happened in many cases over the last month. Countless channels and videos have been taken down or hit with strikes for criticizing the quartering and slash or his coffee brand coffee company, right? And well, one of the interesting twists here is that he's had some beef going with Yellow Flash. Now, for those who are not there, the quartering was challenging Flash to a debate live on Flash's stream. Now, this was not a planned thing for Flash, who was supposed to have a stream about reading super chats. That's all it was. And the quartering tried to muscle his way in.
Okay, now that's where we come in the story. That was what I was listening to Thursday night, and we referenced it a couple of times on the show. And he had Bearing, he had one of the quartering's friends on. Let me give you my background with the quartering. I always found the quartering dull. He's always in the space, so I knew who he was, and I did watch a couple of his videos, but he did so much shilling. I don't mind the occasional having to read this is the commercial, and I'm going to sell gold to you or whatever, but all his shit, he was constant car salesman. So like half his video was, he was selling with the coffee or something. So I didn't watch him too much. And number two, he would never brought anything new. If I'm watching reaction content or someone talk about the same topic everyone's talking about, I want to hear their funny, they all have a quirk. He didn't have that.
Right, exactly. Why am I spending the time watching your take on it then?
Mm-hmm. So, and that was my history with him. But anyway, Flash was only doing that stream that I was watching is because he had to catch up on super chats. They took a stream down because he was watching footage of the assassination. One of the Secret Service guys had a weapon. The AI picked it up that there was a weapon, and they shut him down. And he didn't have access to it. And he went over to Rumble, and he had a successful stream over there. 2,000 people showed up. A lot of them went over for it. Yeah, which is a pretty good loyal audience. He really has a good loyal audience. I went over for it. And anyway, but all the super chats were locked. He couldn't get to them. So he was just doing a stream so he could read those super chats off to the people who paid their money.
Super chats.
And the quartering was like, I'm gonna show up. We're gonna go ahead and do this. And it would have been a friendly, because Bearing is his friend. It would actually kind of that would have been the friendliest format. That was quartering's best chance to put his best foot forward to everyone in the community who's been bagging on him.
Interesting. Okay.
That was his best chance. And Flash is a really Flash. I mean, I showed you a little bit of the video where he went off on him when they went over to Rumble this past Saturday. I'm not going to play it on here because I don't want YouTube taking us down. But for the most part,
we waited to go to Rumble to see what they see. So
but for the most part, Flash is he's really easy going. Unless you're a super dickhead, he just ain't gonna aim his fire at you. And it would have been the coolest place for him to do it. So anyway, they go through a bunch of rigmarole there that night, and so they set up a second debate, and then that will let Rev take over from there.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I just wanted to add my
demanding that he.
I just want to add my little bit, add context, a little bit of more context.
Right, because I remember bits of the quartering early when he was really popping, but I don't know any of that. God damn it.
He's very generic.
Allows the quartering to make an appearance, which Flash would basically accommodate. But as we know, eventually the quartering would back out, who had no intentions of actually engaging in a debate, because during this whole thing, this whole crash out on Twitter, he was at a Milwaukee Brewers game. I mean, what else do you say? But he ended it by saying all these channels.
Hold up. You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. He's talking all that shit while he's out at a Brewers game?
Yeah, it turns out that day he was at a game the whole damn time. This was Thursday night. That was the initial one. It turns out he never had any intention to show up.
Showing up, yeah, of course.
Like Yellow Flash are cowards who ran away from him. Well, in response, Yellow Flash would schedule a May 1st stream on Rumble where the quartering agreed to come in and address everything. did he actually do it? Now, when I released my video yesterday, we had this all planned out. It was ready to go. And the question was, will the quartering show up? He did not. Yeah, he posted this at 5:20 p.m. on May 1st, a few hours before the stream was supposed to begin, saying doing a phone/internet detox this weekend. There are a lot of reasons for it, but I'm also hoping it'll help get me more restful sleep. I've been having trouble sleeping.
Dude's really trying to call a mental health day on an internet beef.
And with the most cynical audience. I mean, this is the kind of thing that, and this is no offense to you, to your side of the podcasting world, but this is kind of a bitch ass. It's bitch ass. Show up, be a man. Yeah, mental health day. What? This is in the thing. You know, I mean, now let me take it back. I mean, if you want to say, okay, I'm logging out, you know, things are a little too toxic, so I'm gonna go take a break or whatever. I mean, that happens. But I mean, especially the timing of it.
Day that you were supposed to show up to the,
He's playing victim. He's playing victim, and we're so against victim culture. So again, that's very, very counter audience. You know, he's in this space, and this space is very anti-victim. Don't be a victim.
Not agree to the room.
Yeah.
Sleeping for the last 5 or 6 months, hence the giant bags under my eyes. Melatonin, CBD, white noise failed. And you can see the proposed community note saying, the quartering is blocking people and filtering responses Friday evening instead of detoxing. Yeah, he ran. He ran, ladies and gentlemen. He was puffing his chest out, challenging people to debates. And when people agreed, he still said they were cowards and ducking him. And when he had an official stream lined up, he pulled out at the last minute. And, well, as you can see, before and after, right? You have this long history here of him crashing out a few days ago, challenging everyone to debates. And here is the present, him doing his little detox from social media, where he also ends it by saying, see you Monday. Interesting. Eventually, he would also lock the replies, as pointed out in this proposed community note. So he did run away while claiming he's detoxing social media. Well, we know that's not the truth because he was actively curating the responses. And Camelot here would point out that the quartering during his internet detox would upload a video to his alternate channel complaining about YouTube. He claims the space isn't fun anymore and no one watches him because Trump won. By the way, if you haven't noticed, his internet detox thing was an excuse to not debate Flash. I mean, everyone knew that, but the irony of him complaining that his space isn't fun anymore, it's palpable, ladies and gentlemen. We all know he's not having fun because he's doing stupid things on the internet and making himself look like a fool. Now, Flash would respond to the situation saying, oh no, the quartering has my full attention. He should have taken the Bearing Mercy stream, referring to the previous attempt to get him on stream. I can also tell you higher-ups at YouTube are very aware of what's going on now. From what I hear, they're not happy with his flagging. His reign of terror is coming to an end.
Flagging. Let's give Flash the credit here. Flaggetry is a pretty fun turn of phrase on faggotry there with flag.
Yeah, and since his primal sin, in his mortal sin was flagging other content creators.
Exactly. Right. Not just being able to take the fucking lumps and moving on.
God, this is a war. If this is a war zone, you want to come out and be a warrior, but don't. Yeah, that's a bitch ass move. If you want to fight back on the mic.
Right. To be fair, though, Larry, he hasn't been sleeping very well. So
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
Jesus Christ. Okay, let's let boy finish up this minute though.
With this epic photo op right here, but it sounds like people at YouTube are aware of this flagging situation. According to Flash, who has proven before that he has contacts at YouTube. So how this plays out, well, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. But this whole situation, regardless, even giving all the benefit of the doubt to the quartering, that he's not responsible for these videos going down. If you choose to believe that, at the very least, maybe YouTube will start fixing these rampant strikes being made against channels who are criticizing him. But of course, they're wanting more because they're looking at this situation and thinking the quartering has a lot of explaining to do and might have more than just a passive role in this entire situation. I guess he can duck the debate, but he can't duck the consequences of everything going on the last month or so.
Yep.
Yeah.
And hats off to Rev. He's usually got good stuff. It's usually pretty solid, and it's calm, as you can tell by his delivery. He's a pretty calm kind of guy. But yeah, that was kind of fun. I know they're still making videos about him. I didn't click on any of them, but I know he's still a hot click getter right now.
Right.
I pull up my YouTube front page. Let me see how many of the algos serve me.
Because you can know all those people better than I would. I barely know the top level online shitheads, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I
you
guess
know,
I
yeah.
know 'em a lot better on the left, actually. Let me pause on that because that's not completely accurate.
But
Okay.
Actually, I'm not. Oh, okay, I got one, but it's Jello Flash's video. So I got two. I got two that served me up some more quartering drama. I don't think there's anything new on it. I'm not gonna click on them. I'll wait until the next his next big misstep.
Right.
But that was everything going on there. Let's see what else is going on. The war is picking back up. Trump starts he's gonna push ships through. Iran flipped out because that's the last thing they got is the Hormuz being closed. If Trump opens that up, then he can strangle them forever. Because as long as oil moves, then it doesn't matter.
Right.
But there's nothing really big there. But anything else go on?
There was an interesting exchange, and I kind of have this in part of our episode description, so we can hit that next. Adam
Here's our
Mockler, you saw this with Steve Jennings, I believe his name is.
Yeah, I actually didn't watch the video. I just saw all the reaction to it.
Okay. Let's see.
So I
This
haven't seen the
is
clip.
part of the reaction to it is actually from Piers Morgan's show. This might speak to we need to get a good ranking going. We might not wait till Friday to get our next power ranking in because I feel like there are a lot of moves going on. So this is a Piers Morgan clip, a great panel show, which is why he's ranked so high, is he has the ability to bring the broadest amount of voices in. Did you have something?
Oh no, I was going to say. I recognize the guardian angel from New York, and of course Grandma Groiper. Who's the first chick?
Anna Kasparian.
Oh, she's okay. She got a filter going. I didn't recognize her. She looks different to me. Whatever. I don't know. My bad.
It's I don't even know if it might be a filter. I don't know. But this is actually it's about Adam Mockler and Scott Jennings had a very interesting interaction on CNN's panel show, which I can't even remember the host name on that show. I think part of why I'm showing this is I honestly think it's a testament to why Pierce needs to be higher up on our ranking because especially considering he's doing this remotely, really wrangles in people a lot better than even like I see on CNN or like some of these like Fox like the Five or whatever that just go down in like these awful weird little exchanges. I think here's better than anyone else at kind of keeping people wrangled a bit. And because he goes remotely, he can pull in so many people day to day and just switch it up. Like so many other people that are on our power ranking list. Go the past month through Pierce's show and tell me you don't find fucking all of them showing up.
No, I agree with that. I do think they all show up. I don't think Piers would be shit without them, though. I'm like, if you had Pierce on a show just by himself voicing his own thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Did you see any of Pierce and Russell Brand? Because
yeah,
that
that's
was
all
one.
the
Yeah.
clip where he's trying to find the Bible quote.
Look
That
at
was
that. That's of course the most viral one, but there's so like that interview is kind of a tour de force, honestly, on because it's not even their target. It's really easy poke and prod that you don't even have to go the ham on in order to expose some bullshit. It's a really good one. It's
dude.
I think a testament to that kind of British interview style of always being able to follow up in the moment and not be caught up on like your list of questions that you wanted to get through.
Yeah, I think it's more of personality. I don't know if it's a step. I just think it's his personality. But what's funny, do you remember me recommending Russell Brand to you about a year and a half ago? Maybe 2 years ago, even? It was right when he first started doing his show.
Doing
You even
like the
remember it?
his conservative bent. Yeah, that was about the election time, right?
Was it about like yeah? So maybe it was. I think it was a little bit, but yeah, he's went off the deep end like all the other ones because
Yeah.
he used to be. I would catch. I wouldn't say I was a regular, but I would pop in every now and then to check out his channel, and I always thought his content was pretty fine. It was normalish. It wasn't. And once he got converted, then he went off into like space land. But yeah. So I know. I don't know if Rusty will come up or if Russell Brand will come up again, and because we don't, I don't see him pop up on my feed very often unless he's doing something outlandish like forgetting Bible quotes.
Mhm. Okay.
But all right,
Well, he's got a court case he's got to go through. But this is on Pierce's show. He has both Adam Mockler and Geraldo Rivera were on that panel, and he has both of them join him here for this.
We're quite often that on that show they have 4 on one side and Scott Jennings. So I actually feel like he puts up a pretty good fight, given he's often heavily outnumbered. But Anna, on a sort of slightly wider point here, it's very interesting to me. I just interviewed Megyn Kelly for 20 minutes at the start of this show, and I could have been talking to you about some of these issues, right? Same with Tucker Carlson. A lot of you have blended now into a weird family of people who have a lot of agreement about a lot of things. Iran, the influence of. Did you think a time would come when you would be siding?
And this isn't the right time. I'm gonna have to find it.
just pointing out the horseshoe, the open end of the horseshoe, holding hands
Oh,
now.
yeah. Well, they
hey,
become victim.
Hey, I'm glad they're getting pushed out of our land and more into your land. You can have them like the Bull crew. You can keep pulling out. I'm cool. I mean,
I
it's
don't-
going to be an interesting. It's going to be an interesting tent you're building with MTG and Billy Chris and Bill and Irving or Bill Crystal in this under the same tent.
Well, and that's the thing is this is the thing with the two-party system is if you can make them just hold their nose and vote for someone who's actually good, like forebear of the values you want to espouse, but with a pragmatic fucking lens, like a John Stewart, like someone who knows he's gotten even like health care for 9/11 firefighters passed through Congress, someone who's fought for the people. Sorry, I'm gonna go on a diatribe. But I think I've got it queued up here. But yeah, no, absolutely. Those horseshoe ends are connecting, I think, around a Tucker, and it terrifies me. And that's all I know is if you want to crush a Tucker, you get a John Stewart. So
There'll be very little he can do to get it open again. Let me bring in Adam Mockler. Welcome to Uncensored, Adam. You've obviously hit the headlines in the last few days. For those who haven't seen it, I think it's up there with my Russell Brand clip as the 2 most memed and republished clips of the week. So let's take a look at your one. This is you with Scott Jennings at CNN.
I mean, honestly, they have been at war with us for 47
We all
years.
know that Scott Jennings is more than happy to defend a war with a country that starts with the letters IRA that we are currently failing, that is going to put us trillions and trillions of dollars more in debt. I was only a few years old while you were in the administration defending prior endless wars. Now this war is failing.
8 weeks is endless to you?
Okay, you said it was going to be 4 to 6 weeks.
You have the attention span of a gnat? Is that
Homie,
what you
I
have?
debated you on TV 4 to 6 weeks ago, and you said we were weeks away from it. Now you're making condescending remarks because you can't defend the fact that this war is not going your way. Wait, one more time.
Not going your way.
One political
Get your
concession.
out of my
Name
face
one political
for-
concession.
whoa, guys,
Honestly, I'm not
excuse me.
going to
Hold
have
on.
this guy's
Everybody,
in my face.
hang tight.
right, the little kid energy. started it with he put his hands up with his hands weren't even like really particularly in his face. Gosh, yeah, that's so weird of Scott Jennings, right? I thought this I give him credit, like Pierce was saying at the beginning of this clip. He is always going like 3-on-1 in this shit. So it just feels out of character, I think, is why it went viral.
That kid got under his skin for some
He
reason.
just got
I think
under his skin.
yeah,
And
he
look
just
at
got
the little sitting.
normally Jennings' whole shtick is to do the Jim from The Office deadpan. When the limo goes whack, he does the thing to the camera just like Dwight. When Dwight would do something stupid and Jim would flash the deadpan to the camera.
Right. Under long. Yeah, exactly. The deadpan. Yeah, let's see. Because it is interesting to see even Adam and Geraldo after this like sum up of the clip get into it a little bit, which I thought was the way it plays out is just so interesting.
Okay. No, everybody calm down, okay?
Now, as somebody who was repeatedly actually manhandled by Russell Brand, I think your manhandling was at least a little bit removed. There was daylight between your arms and Scott Jennings. But what was interesting about the exchange to me was not that he was not entitled to get annoyed with the way you were gesticulating. I probably would have done too. But I've not seen him that rattled. Scott Jennings is normally ice cool on that panel show. I watch it a lot. I think he's a really interesting commentator for the right on CNN. It's an unusual beast. They don't have many of them. And he holds his own often against 3 or 4 people. And on this occasion, Geraldo was also on the panel, I noted. And we'll come to Geraldo for his view of it in a minute. But I haven't seen Scott Jennings react like that to anybody. And that, to me, in the same way that I'm seeing with Donald Trump's slightly erratic and, quite angry and testy social media activity in the last few weeks, it just looks to me like people that have gone all in on this war in Iran, now it's not playing out in any way that they predicted or told everybody that it was going to play out. They're getting testy. They're getting quite angry about it, which is a natural human reaction, but is increasingly obvious. And I thought your exchange with Scott was indicative of that. What did you think?
I don't want to take away from the point that I was making in the question that I was asking in that moment, because I have sat on panel after panel after panel with Scott Jennings as he lies about this war, not bound by any facts whatsoever, as he makes failed predictions, not bound by any timelines whatsoever, and as he condescends and trolls and provokes everyone else on the panel. I mean, even in the same panel, he made fun of my bedtime like 5 minutes earlier. So this is a man that's not bound by any facts or timelines or rules. So I said, I'm not going to be bound by rules that my opponent is not playing it. So you can say that I was gesticulating a bit too much. That's a fair criticism, but he could have politely asked me to tone it down. That is not what he did. He snapped because he realized he does not have an answer to the simple question: name one political concession we've gotten from Iran 60 days into this war. We've had moving, shifting timelines, shifting objectives for this war. They've been lowering the threshold for what victory is considered as. And just because I asked the question of, hey, what concessions have we gotten, that pisses him off. We've seen billions of dollars spent. We saw dozens of people, thousands of people in Iran have died, tens of thousands, but we saw over a dozen US soldiers die. So I'm going to continue to ask this very same question: what political concessions have we gotten from Iran 60 days into this war? The answer is absolutely none, and he knows the answer is none. That's why he freaked out.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect.
What do you think of that? I think, and I don't have it saved on my Twitter. I should have saved the actual tweet, but I think someone tweeted out he did actually have like that same exact phraseology when he asked Scott that same question a couple weeks ago when he was on that same panel or whatever. So what do you think? Is there validity that Scott just really doesn't like that he doesn't have an answer for that? Is that what got under his skin?
You can have that interpretation if you wish. I don't think that's the interpretation. I think he's just frustrated with the kid. But who knows? Maybe, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we can't look.
There is a frustration in the right. And again, we'll see how this ends up, because right now, this reminds me a lot of the tariff stuff. When we were told that the tariff was going to cause a recession. Recession is coming. I even lost a friend over that. Because he had that when that first dip happened in the stock market. Remember, it plunged like 10%. And he's like, a recession is coming, and you voted for Trump, and it was an online friend. And he blasted back at me. And I was like, dude, this just happened. He's like, yeah, I know, but you've been listening to them. Everyone's saying recession's coming. It never came. All I'm saying, if this Iran thing wraps up and oil does plunge because we own the oil control, it's still in process. Anyway, there's a sensitivity on the right that's coming. As far as Trump doing unhinged and erratic stuff over the past 2 weeks, Trump has been unhinged and erratic since he came down the golden escalator.
Yeah, pretty much the whole time. Yep.
There's
Not a
nothing
whole
about
lot.
his behavior that's any different in the last 2 weeks than it was the previous 10 years.
Right.
So
I think there is a fair amount of I guess a lot of people on the right possibly talk themselves into thinking in that first term when he was like dropping the Mullen and like taking out leaders or whatever, that it was a lot of the deep state that still had the influence in his administration, and they didn't expect it to happen at all this term. So the fact that they're getting any kind of action on the world stage, they're just overall having a
I
knee-jerk
would
reaction to,
that
perhaps.
the America First coalition, the Johnny Come Latelys, sure, I'll agree with that statement for them. For MAGA,
Right.
he's been talking about bombing Iran forever.
Mm.
He's the one who dropped bombs. He brags about dropping bombs on Soleimani. He's the one that
That's
brags about,
right.
when he told Abdul, I got a picture of your fucking house. So if you kill another American in Afghanistan, I will kill your entire family. That's a story Trump tells himself. So
Right.
this is not a man who's afraid of using he's never come across that I won't use American force. General Patton was the background for his rally. The speech from Patton, where
Mm.
Patton's in front of the flag talking about kicking other motherfuckers' ass.
Right. Right.
If you're MAGA, that's deep. You're
It's
swimming in it.
most certainly, yeah, more prevalent amongst like the independently registered but more conservative leaning of the voting.
Libertarian.
The base.
Libertarian and the podcaster class who weren't there to begin with.
What is it called? I've been seeing a lot of tweets about Libertarian Nationalist Party. Is that a new thing? Is that happening?
Go
I
for
also
it.
saw something about an America First Party that seems like it's controlled opposition or some shit. I don't know. I'm barely
That was
paying
what
attention.
what's her name was going to leave and create. Marjorie Trader Brown. That's what I think her current nickname. Yeah, AFAO, America First, America Always, or whatever, something like that. I can't remember America Only, something like that. Yeah, that was her whole reason for breaking, she said, was to start that party. Now, when I was doing my research, remember I was telling you I was researching the split where her story is he went after her because of Epstein, and that's not true, but I'm gonna let it go because that's the narrative, and it doesn't bother me that people believe that. Whatever, I don't even care. They believe so many false narratives. But remember Elon in the fight?
Yes.
Elon led all those people into that. He led Massey out there. He led Rand Paul out there. Remember the Epstein files? His main supporters were Marjorie Taylor Greene, Massey, and Rand, and he Pied Pipered them all out. Well, guess when he reconciled with Trump? The day after Marjorie Taylor Greene got outed. He comes back. It was the very next day. I thought, well, that's an interesting coincidence. And now he doesn't talk about them at all. They're nothing.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
All right, let's pick it up. So this is Geraldo and Adam Mockler, I think, are about to butt heads a little bit.
Don't apologize.
No,
Don't apologize for
I
your
don't think you shouldn't be
gesturing.
apologizing. No, I mean,
Yeah.
let me bring Geraldo in firstly, because Geraldo, you were on the panel. I want to play your reaction on News Nation to what you saw on that panel.
The kid was a dick. I mean, he really smart, eloquent, had his argument together, and obviously.
Just for the record, though, we are watching a Piers Morgan clip where they're talking about a CNN clip, but now we're watching a News Nation clip talking about the CNN clip being referenced on the Piers Morgan clip. Takes on takes. All right, now we'll go back.
They debated Scott before, and he was really being a dick. I mean, it was shut up, go out and get some life experience.
How many different
That's the
I
vibe I
wasn't sure
got.
if you're talking about
Disagree.
Chris Cuomo there, actually, Geraldo. I had to clarify you were talking actually about Adam Mockler. Now,
You still think so?
well, Adam, I mean, what do you want to say to Geraldo? He called you a dick. You have a response?
Yeah, it's not a dick to try to force a critical question and try to force the conversation to where the American people want it. Geraldo, you were there when Scott made fun of my bedtime 5 minutes earlier. Again, this is somebody not bound by any rules whatsoever on this show. He's able to lie over and over. Why should I be bound by some decorum that my opponents aren't bound by? Do you see what I'm saying? It's not the 80s anymore. It's not even 2010 anymore. We are in a new era where we are playing in a reciprocal manner. So I'm not playing the games where I have to be nice. And regarding life experience, really quickly, you have a whole life of experience and you're on the same panels as me. We're on the same shows. We have a show last week. We have a show today. So life experience, what has it gotten you? I don't know.
All right, Geraldo, your life experience has got you nowhere, says the young dick.
Well, it's got
That's
me
an
a career
asshole.
that's
He's
lasted
an
56
asshole.
years.
The kid's an asshole. Now, just imagine during commercial breaks or during, when they're. I'm telling you, this kid gives an asshole vibe. So I love that he's a representative of. That's an. We'll see.
You know what he's a representative of? I don't know if you know this about Adam Mockler. He's a Midas group guy or Midas, whatever the Ron Kilopowski or whatever the hell the guy's name is. He's a big like Twitter voice or whatever. But they get massive numbers on their YouTube channel, and he's one of their dudes.
Yep, and he comes off though as a smug, like Tucker Carlson-ish.
Or Scott Jennings-ish. Like to me, it comes off as a blend of, yeah, I do have these like polished talking points, and I'm also going to find ways to get under your skin in like this like blood sport kind of way.
Sure.
And I do of all the things to be like we're on the same panels, Geraldo, so what have you ever gotten out of it? Like I don't know what even the line of reasoning out of that insult is from Adam there. Like
he's equating himself with Geraldo.
Right.
He's equating himself with Geraldo. But I mean Geraldo, with the exception of Al Capone, and even I don't like Geraldo very much, but Geraldo does have a rather distinguished career. I'm just saying.
It's like say whatever you want about him, but we're in a world of clicks, right? You're on a panel with him, so you're playing the same game. Dude's been fucking milking this shit for decades, so go down a little bit, Adam, just a little.
Years so far and counting, and aside from 10 Emmys and a few other trinkets.
Now you're on the same panels
Adam, listen, you don't be a wise ass, okay? I said to you in the commercial break that immediately followed your confrontation with Scott that I thought that you made some good points. The problem is that you can be very obnoxious in your presentation. Now, sometimes being obnoxious can lead to a whole career, but I advise you strongly because you're a smart kid and you obviously prepared, for the debate. Stick to that. Stick to the substance because I think that you do have a future. In terms of Scott Jennings, I like Scott very much. I didn't know him before the CNN experience. It was fun talking to him in the green room before the show, and then see the confrontation, this spontaneous combustion. I was surprised. I was surprised by the fact that Scott reacted as he did. But then, just listening to Adam, he can be very grating, and sometimes that works. I remember Morton Downey and a bunch of others from daytime TV and so forth. But I strongly advise you to stick to the substance because you can, as I indicated in the commercial break following the confrontation, you can be a voice for a generation that has so far been unable to penetrate into the mainstream media. That's my.
This is so indicative of the double standards that we see all throughout the media. I mean, you went on that whole rant, but you didn't mention that Scott Jennings made fun of my bedtime or whatever. Not that I care, but he's the one who has an obnoxious.
What did you say about your bedtime? I missed that.
Pause.
So I asked him a question.
Not that I care, even though I brought it up at least 6 times.
Question 5 minutes before I said, "Hey, what concession has Iran gotten?" And he says, "Aren't you a little bit up past?"
That's my thing, bro. If you could just stay on the line of questioning, you recognize that that's what's getting him frustrated. Is that exact same question of like, what concession have we gotten out of any of this? It's to Geraldo's point, like you are doing a detriment to your own shit when you. Here's what you do it in the newsroom shit. You start with he did perfect with as long as it starts with IRA, he's in favor of it. And then you get into that specific and you keep fucking hammering it. Because then you
Plus,
look like you have some substance to your shit
and I'm
while
going to
you
say, I
start
think,
with it.
well, I think Scott Jennings ends up winning because the only thing people remember is the fight, the actual get your fucking hands out of my face. No one remembers the point being made or any of that. It's like when Donald Trump and Kamala debated about the eating the dogs or eating the cats. Yeah, where she probably won to like the normie people or whatever because their point or whatever. But what won on the internet is people were making songs about, they were taking the clip and then voice boxing it and making songs out of they're eating the dogs or eating the cats. So Trump ended up winning overall in the discourse area in the town hall. And the point she was trying to make, which may have been a valid point, was dissipated.
Kind of lost in the noise of it all. Yeah, absolutely.
Past your bedtime or something. He started with the condescending jabs.
I mean, to be fair, Adam, you are literally beaming into the show from your bedroom.
It's a hotel room. I'm currently at a hotel room. But I mean, either way,
it's not the best way to refute the suggestion that it's past your bedtime.
What are you talking about? I'm in a hotel room in New York because I have CNN again tonight.
Adam, it's a joke. You're reacting a bit. You're reacting a bit like Scott did the other day. So take a chill pill. You happen to have a bed behind you as you're refuting the charge that it's past your bedtime. I'm just making a joke.
It's a good joke. One final thing. I'm 23. Maybe my youthful arrogance will drop with time, but there's no excuse for Scott Jennings to be on air all the time, making remarks at everybody else. And then the moment somebody gives it back, he can dish it, but he can't take it. The moment somebody tries to force the question, what political concession have we gotten from Iran? He gets worked up. So yeah.
Well, okay. I don't know Scott Jennings at all. I never met him. I think he's a very effective communicator on a network, CNN, that when I was there was very, very, very cautious about revealing any kind of partisan bias, but now has a panel show where quite often on that show they have 4 on one side and Scott Jennings. So I actually feel like he puts up a pretty good fight, given he's often heavily outnumbered. But Anna, on a sort of slightly wider point here, it's very interesting to me. I just interviewed Megyn Kelly for 20 minutes at the start of this show. And I could have been talking to you about some of these issues, right? Same with Tucker Carlson. A lot of you have blended now into a weird
No, I let him finish.
Family of people who have a lot of agreement about a lot of things. Iran, the influence of Israel, Donald Trump and his mistake, as you see it, and so on. Did you think a time would come when you would be siding rhetorically on these big, big issues with so many who are on the conservative right? And what does that tell you about the state of the conservative right when you've got people like Mark Levin saying Tucker's mentally ill, everyone trashing Candace Owens and her trashing everybody else? There is a real split going on the conservative right. And
I'm going to interrupt Pierce because he keeps going on. To your point earlier, Larry, I believe that's that horseshoe linking up here, and it's
the New York Times just did a glam up of Tucker.
Oh, did they? Yeah, no, that makes sense.
They gave him, it sane washed him. That's your guys' term. They sane washed Tucker.
See, I've got a little bit of that lexicon move working on you too. Okay,
I love it. Y'all can, like I said, we don't mind. Take them. You can have. It's just like kicking the Devil Trumpers out.
If anyone's taking anybody so much as Tucker might be assembling some sort of nationalist socialist party. I don't know. It might be some other thing going on. But before we get into
there's no organization behind it though. He's a head. He's a talking head. So that's what I'm saying. There is no PPUSA kind of organization behind him. Yeah. That's why losing him means nothing.
Yeah, and he has very much lost a whole lot of respect from people on like real life voices that I do have in my Twitter feed or whatever. So I know legitimately what you're talking about with like there's a difference between their number of followers, number of watches or whatever, and how much they represent the average mega voter, if you will. As
What
we've
Tucker
spoken.
brought aboard the Trump's coalition, again, there's no data, there's no way I can prove it or whatever. But there was no one who said, well, you know what, I wasn't going to vote for Trump, but now Tucker's with him, I'm going with Trump. The number of that, man, it can't be that large. That's all I'm saying. Tucker was not a vital piece of. He wasn't the vital piece that got Trump into the White House. Rogan, and even then, I don't even know if Rogan pulled all that many, because I mean Rogan is split on Trump. Sometimes he'll shit on him, and sometimes he'll back him up. Rogan will split on him all the time, and every time he shits on him, they'll play that clip, but you'll never ever see in leftist media when he backs him up.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's more there. The 2024 strategy wasn't just a matter of thinking one they knew no one voice gets to the whole audience. So you have to do, send JD over to Theo or whoever did Theo, send Cash Patel over to this. And I mean, if we got Schultz and the Flagrant podcast, send Trump to that, because that's a big part of that independent minded audience that you'd want to try to sway. So it's
And
it's
it
more
wasn't like that there was some kind of restriction on Kamala not showing up. She had every opportunity to show, and Rogan bent over backwards to try to make that interview work for Rogan.
Right.
For Rogan, he's a very laid back dude, but even he tried to lay back a bit or whatever to trying to make it work. She chose not to do it, and I don't think she could do it, to be honest. I don't think she could do it. That's what's going to be interesting in 28. Now what's crazy is 28, South Carolina is your most important state. You're not going to pry the black vote away from her. So anyone else in the Democratic field is just squashed. There's no one, they ain't going to be able to do it. So she's your guaranteed nominee right now. But now with the VRA taking power away from the Black Caucus, because there are going to be much fewer of them now, they're not going to have and with each Democratic state now going to have to gerrymander more. They're going to have to dilute their black precincts, because you've got to take that urban center and stretch it out into the rural area to swallow them up. So now that's going to lessen the power of the black vote. The Democratic Party is going to be into a reckoning. They might turn into a whole, like a party of Karens with the radical right and the radical left.
Both parties have all incentive in the world to completely rig everything in their favors, which is just going to work towards extremes. Just keeps pulling us and pulling us and pulling us. Or rather than part, almost like to the top of, like, I don't know, like a horseshoe, because people get frustrated with how little happens, so they accelerate. I don't know if we have a whole lot more clips. I really want to get into one of the nights this week, Larry. We need to cover that New York Times interview, the Hassan Piker, talking about like micro looting and social murder. Have you watched that whole thing?
Yeah, I've seen the clips. I didn't watch the interview itself.
The whole thing. Okay, that's maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. That's going to happen at some point this week, because you need to go off on this dude. He's so fucking stupid, Larry. He's so dumb. So that will be coming up on the horizon.
So why I'm still trying to figure out why the hell they're promoting him. Why are they trying to make him the face of the party?
Who's they?
The Pod Bros, New York Times. What else did he show up on? A few, congressmen like
the face of the part. Here's what happens: is when you say, well, you have to be able to have a discussion with someone, the other side's media talk about it like, did the Republicans ever try to make Nick Fuentes the face of the Republican Party?
No, he didn't get no exposure until just recently.
The media is going to portray it, right? He got exposure from different outlets somewhere on like, where was it? Vice? I mean, Vice has some right leanings in homeboy, what's his name? Who's Gavin McInnes? Is that who?
Yeah, he has no representation either. He's not promoted anywhere. Find him on one
I
regular
think at the
MAGA
time,
mainstream
what was it,
program.
2017 was the Charlottesville thing.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, he wasn't showing up on Don Bongino or Glenn Beck or Ben Shapiro or the those guys. And Nick Fuentes never had. He was totally non persona non grata. It wasn't until just 6 months ago when everyone opened up the doors to him, and that was after they had gone to war with Trump. It was only after they had gone to war with Trump did they open up to Nick Fuentes.
The speed ring, the talk to anyone with that doesn't mean you agree with them kind of lesson, because we've been so far from that being acceptable, from even like being in the same room as someone being acceptable. You know what I mean? And the left has been also been using like that transitive property guilt by association shit, that it's like you can't even be in the room with someone who's okay with someone who
Oh yeah,
you're
yeah,
saying,
no.
right.
I,
So it's just
yeah,
having that
no, I'm not.
conversation at all. It's they're going to I see why using one of the most polarizing figures is who you center that conversation around. So it's less
So
about making him the face of the party, and more like he's the avatar for the question, kind of a thing.
oh, okay. Okay, and then so that's just a misunderstanding. Because like I said, on the outside, what's bleeding through, at least into my bubble, is that like when the Podbro didn't give him any pushback, or when the New York Times doesn't give him any pushback.
You know,
It was the same complaint that the Tucker got, and who else platformed him? PDB or PBD brought Nick Fuentes up too. And the same criticisms that MAGA gave them, it was the same ones. Why didn't you give him no pushback? Why didn't you call out some of the stupid shit? It's the same pushback.
But why are you not like actually having a conversation with the dude? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it seems like you're glazing him here.
Right.
Now again, a lot of Joe Rogan doesn't get pushback left, right. I saw him saying he never went after Bill Gates or whatever. Well, yeah, but he didn't go after Lex Friedman either, and Lex Friedman's pretty, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't push back anyone. He's just having a conversation with him. I don't think he would have pushed back on Kamala.
That's never been what Joe does. He's not an investigative journal or like a he doesn't never beat. He talks to people. The whole format is to have a conversation rather than like an interview kind of a thing. But yeah, file that under like lesson 47 of things liberals don't understand about the Joe Rogan experience, because that's so fucking frustrating. We need a Joe Rogan of the left.
Oh, you had him.
But I
You
think
still have him. He still is a lefty.
Exactly. It's that these people are so fucking dumb there. But I think it speaks to, I think Joe has to move down a little bit on our peer list. I think Piers is going to be moving up into S tier soon. Because again, I'm telling you, look
Ooh,
over.
I don't know if I can agree with that. We might have to have like a quorum call, and I don't know if I can put him even above Joe Rogan, even in I don't know if I can do that.
We need to discuss what it means to be a top power ranking motherfucker. Because to me, it does mean how much of the conversation you at least have some part of swaying in some, or not even swaying, platforming and swaying in the kind of like, I do think there's something to having that incredible platform strength.
Are we talking an influencer power ranking? Because here's the thing, I don't think Piers influences anybody.
I don't know if it is an influencer thing so much as a talking head, because I wouldn't think of like Scott Jennings or any of these like traditional media people that we have on those lists or that list as like an influencer. It's just that we live in that age where the lines have gotten so blurred, and that we just need to entertain ourselves even with news and politics, that it's more influency feeling and vibes based,
I still think that Joe Rogan, numbers wise and culturally, is still more significant than Piers Morgan. Every time I watch Piers Morgan, I feel like I'm watching boomer media.
Yeah, and I get also, yeah, which audiences they're probably hitting. Because Piers and like a Megan Kelly, I try to make the argument for they hit older audiences. But it's, they're part of the voting block still. It's interesting to think about. We should maybe we'll do a power ranking on Wednesday or Thursday because I've had so many things. I know it's part of my like saved Twitter feed. I've had like some of these interactions that with people on our list where I'm like, oh, matchup. There's a matchup here that I'll be able to reference whenever we do that, either Wednesday or Thursday.
All
And
right.
then let's do Hassan tomorrow. If you haven't watched that full thing, I'll send you the clip. I'm gonna go crazy on this dude. He's so dumb. He's just so dumb. Um, did you have final thoughts on like, it's May the 4th be with y'all? Any other things on like news we've missed
Yeah,
or
no, I think we covered. There wasn't really anything else going. I mean, there's little things. Right now, I would say the voting rights thing is big on the radar. Iran is big on the radar because there was some kinetic activity today, and that's about it. I mean, there are other things bubbling up, but nothing major, I would say. We're also
Yeah.
going to have to do. I know you want to rant about the about Nux. I know he pissed you off recently, so we're going to have to do the anime. I'm fascinated by the Zoomer conservative, and I think you millennials, you progressive millennials who hate us Gen X MAGA, you are going to loathe what's coming up the pike. I've been watching their content, and they are
very well be.
yeah, I think you're
I
gonna
mean,
be wishing for MAGA. Trump is the last of the because Trump himself is a boomer. His administration's filled with Xers, but Trump himself and he's powered by Xers, but he himself is a boomer. What's coming? Oof.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. How long before the boomers are all died out? Are they like by 2030s? They're a good amount. 2036, right? That's a presidential election. But most of them are died out by then.
Yeah, they're gonna be voting a much less percentage, and that's when when you're Gen Z. Gen Z is split. The men are highly conservative. The females are highly progressive. There's a big gender split among political ideologies. So I don't know how that's going to look in practice. I don't know how when they're actually right now they're just talking. They wield little power, but they have influence. They have influence. Their channels are growing. Their Twitch streams are very hot. They pull bigger numbers than CNN and MSNBC. They're getting like 5K watchers, 10K. Maybe not bigger than because MSNBC is getting 70K. But what I mean is, for their punching way above their weight. Let's put it that way. They're punching way above their weight.
Yep.
So we can do that. And then I want to introduce you to the female right wingers because woof.
Yeah. And that'll be interesting. And there's at least one Nux video that I saw earlier, like just the thumbnail of that. I was like, oh, that's gonna piss me off. Gonna have to watch that later. So yeah, no, definitely we'll work that in. We'll hate on Hassan a bit, and we might get a power ranking in early. But I think that's it for tonight. Until next time, we love y'all. Anything else, Larry?
Nope. I do want to try to hit that 8:30 mark though, if we can tomorrow. That 8:30 would be cool. But with the window of 10 or 15. But yeah, I'd like to try to hit that one. All right, sounds good to me, man.
Just read it. It's 10. This is perfect. All right, take it easy, y'all. We love y'all. Peace.